I'm going to talk about 3 different points that is going to help your chiropractic office thrive. Howdy, I'm Dr. Alejandro.
And I'm Dr. Emily.
And as many of you know, we have 3 clinics on our first 3 years in practice.
If you enjoy our content, make sure you subscribe and share with your colleagues and future colleagues to get on the path to victory.
You have to understand how things are up here.
We're going to start with fighting. Being an entrepreneur, it's like fighting. What do I mean with that? So one time we had a staff, she was doing a great job, and she unfortunately put her 2 weeks. We were not expecting that, and it was like a punch on the face because Emily became the office manager again, and we had to scramble around in order to hire someone. We hired desperate. It wasn't a correct hire, so it was something that we were not prepared for. Okay. On the opposite side, we had a staff that quit, but in between that, we were ready for it because it was Emily was going to fire her or she was going to quit. So she decided to quit. So we were ready for that. That was like a punch that came and we were able to avoid it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why they say being an entrepreneur is like fighting, you know? So if you're a boxer and you see a punch coming to you and you're ready for it, it's going to hurt you, but it's not going to hurt you as much. Unless, like, if there's a punch coming and you're not expecting it, it's going to destroy you. So when that person decided to quit, you were already, like, the ads were going up. You already had a couple people that you were interviewing, and it was easier, all the process. So that's what they say. Entrepreneurs like fighting. You need to prepare yourself for the worst. That way, whenever it happens, you're ready to go. And that is something that having the Victory method, all the mentors that we have on the Victory, inside the Victory, we're able to chat with each doctor and help them on that aspect. Just in case something happens, we already have a backup for that problem.
And all the training methods that we implement, all the systems that we implement. Like when we're training for a fight, if you want to use that analogy. So I'm ready to counter punch back. When we got hit with that, I was already ready and I was hitting her with the left hook. Correct. Basically. Yeah. Like, let's put somebody in place because we already had the systems already set. But that doesn't come from a boxer who's never trained before in his life. To be able to know to do that, you've got to put in the work ahead of time. And that's, thankfully, with Victory, we've been able to figure that out and have those systems and have the mentorship that we have.
And the support group that you have on the behind. They're like, just by the numbers, they could tell you like, hey, like this might happen. You need to start looking for this just by the numbers and the stats that we get every week. Another thing, the second point, the first one was entrepreneurs like fighting. The second one, be yourself. There's a lot of chiropractic gurus and like practice management groups that they tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, how to say it, what tone. You know, Jerry that is 70 years old is not going to have the same energy that I have, you know, so don't get me into the energy that Jerry has. So let me be myself. You need to have a system that you can put your personality into the system. It doesn't have to be the system has to control you. And that is something that we experience a lot of management groups out there. They tell you have to do it this way, this way, this way with this tone. But it's like, no, look at Emily. She's way different than me. I have an accent. I cannot have that tone. I cannot act like that. I'm an island boy. Like, it's not going to work with me. Then you have Emily doing it her own way. So it's like with the Victory method, we've been able to get every personality and just they can adapt it to the system. Right. It's like you don't have to do it this way. You can do it this way. Just be yourself. Just follow this guideline and put it into yourself.
Yeah, we're recovering from a management group where we felt like we were being controlled, right? And to be fair, that management group helped us to get to where we are today. No doubt about it. They gave us amazing systems. We've been able to use those systems. But we went through kind of like a quarter life crisis, I'll call it, when we had first opened our office and it's like 3 months in. And you and I just felt like a identity loss, I think, because we were showing up to the office and we weren't being ourselves. We were being who the management group told us to be. So we were dressing how they wanted us, saying exactly what they wanted us to say. And it just felt like we weren't serving our patients to the fullest capacity because we weren't being our true authentic selves. And people feel that. People can know that and people can read that and pick up on it very fast. So we kind of had to make this shift of this is our office. This is our practice. We want to be who we want to be. And that means that I'm going to put my full identity into it and not have somebody tell me who to be and what to be and what to say and what to wear. And so I think that was a really big shift for us. Just putting our authenticity into it.
And that's when you started having fun again.
Yeah.
Honestly. And if you're not having fun with it, it doesn't matter how much money you make or, how many people you can serve and help if you're not having fun with it.
During that identity crisis that we had, I'll call it, I called up my sister-in-law, and she's a chiropractor as well in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I just was vulnerable. I said, hey, I just don't like showing up to the office. I'm not having fun. This isn't what I thought chiropractic was going to be. We just spent all this time and money in school. Like, what am I doing? And she just said, well, are you being your true self when you go to the office? Like, do you feel like, you feel like you're being your fullest and showing up authentically? And I did some self-reflection, and I was like, no, I'm not. And that's why I'm not having fun, is because I'm trying to be somebody who I'm not. And yeah, you're not going to have fun with that, and you're not going to be successful. Maybe you will be, but it's not going to be the true fulfillment that you really want.
Yeah. And going through that, what you call the crisis, I didn't call it like that, but you call it like that.
It was for me.
It's what helped us basically reinforce the victory system, because we're not gonna have not all the doctors are gonna be like us, and we could see it already. We're all different. So it's like, hey, how can we change all this to a 180 and basically flip it that way it fits all the personalities? And it took us a lot of time. It took us a year and a half, 2 years to fix that, but we thankfully fixed it because we went through that ourselves, and we don't want anyone to go through that.
And you talk about like the difference between me and you are from a Hispanic culture, and the culture is very different than the American culture. So I can't try to do things that the Hispanic culture would do, and vice versa. It doesn't work because that's not us. But if like you've got your Puerto Rican culture, you've got your Puerto Rican background, you can connect with the Hispanic culture so much better because it's just different. And so that doesn't always fit into a system. But when you can apply it and you can use yourself and put your personality into a system, that's like magic. And that's what we want victory to be like, is just that power within you, being your most authentic self, using your identity to help other people, essentially.
Yeah. And the third point is sales. That should be the first one, but we're going to put it third. No business can run without sales. And we all know that, we're about loving people, serving people, helping people. But if you don't have sales, you cannot pay the bills for the building, basically, So what do I mean with that? Samuel Adams, the beer, his uncle invested on him a lot of money, lots of money. And he hasn't opened yet. And his uncle saw him one day and say, okay, so what did you do today to help the business? I bought 4 computers. And he's like, I had never met a business owner that became a millionaire from buying computers. He's like, what do you mean? Well, you didn't do any sales. That's the only way to make money right now. If you haven't even launched and you haven't sell, what are you doing? Why are you buying computers? Why are you going to use the computers for if you don't have sales? And he said, what do you mean? Well, go out there, even if the product hasn't launched, get an example and start giving it to people. Go bar to bar. Hey, this is the beer that I'm producing. Any feedback, or what can we improve? Or do you want to be a customer? And he was pretty uncomfortable with that. So the next day, he said he took a while dressing up. He didn't want to go out there, but he had to be uncomfortable. So he just dressed up, went to different bars. He went to the first bar and said, hey, this is an example that I have. This is a new beer coming up. It's Samuel Adams. Do you want to try it? And he's like, hey, I'm just the bartender. I'm going to get the manager. And he's like, oh, he said that he was thinking he was the owner. All of a sudden, the manager came, tried the beer and said, I want to put an order of 28. So he got the first sale, and then he went to another bar that same day and got more sales. So, do sales. What do I mean with this? The victory method. You have the whole victory team basically taking care of the office. Where's the location? They do the study market. They tell you, hey, put the table here, put the table there. They're doing all the research marketing. That way you can just start meeting people. Go out there, knock on doors. Hey, it's Dr. Alejandro. I'm new into town. I'm thinking of opening a business here. What do you think? Ask for help from the people. That way they think they're part of the mission as well.
Exactly.
And after that, send them a handwritten letter. That's what we talk on the first episode. So if you haven't heard it, go back to the first episode. We talk about what we did in order to meet 2,000 people before we open, and all the 2,000 letters that we send on the mail, and we're still sending, So you have to go out there, meet people. By having the victory method, you can focus on meeting people. And that way we're doing all the behind the scenes. And it doesn't mean that we're doing everything for you. Like, hey, we're doing this. No, like we ask you, hey, do you agree with this? What about if we put the table here? We tell you the why. Well, you're just meeting people.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback off that, like we focused on all the stupid things in the beginning. Yeah. And I remember our mentor just being like, buy whatever the crap you want. Like, who cares? Like, we were stressing about what chairs to put in the waiting room, what picture to hang up on the wall. At the end of the day, none of those small details really matter. And as soon as you get successful, you get momentum, you get people in your door, you can change all of it later because you've got the capital to do so. So I would encourage you, don't spend time on stupid things like computers, what screen to buy, what table, what desk to buy. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Go out and meet people because that's your bread and butter. You need to be the face in your community. People aren't coming into your office because you've got a cool picture on your wall. You've got a cool mural on your wall. People are coming into your office because they want to see you. They want to know if you can help them. And that at the end of the day is the most important. For sales, you have to sell yourself, right? So show up presentable, be yourself, connect with people, and all the other stuff will fall into place, and we can help you with that.
And that's the location that we have in Dallas. They didn't do that before, and now we're trying to fix everything. They focus on having their dream office, went way over budget. Yes. So when we bought in, it was like, whoa, okay, this is crazy. You have a beautiful office, but you don't have people here. So now how can we get more people here? And that's what we try to flip and fix. So don't focus on the logo, the name, the website, whatever. Just go out there and meet people. Like, set a goal. Our goal was to meet 1,000 people. We met 2,000 people, sent 2,000 letters. For the people that we have coming up next to the surprise office, we're doing 4,000. That's our goal. Yep. If we did 2,000, I want you to be better than me. I want you to do 4,000.
It's funny you say that about the dream office too. I was just thinking this with our mentor, Dr. Wayland, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Most people have never even heard of that. I didn't even know where Missouri was on a map. When we went there, I remember looking at his office and being like, this guy does $2 million a year. You're kidding me. Because it was like a 1,500 square foot office, chairs that are older than me and you. I mean, these chairs were like 40 years old. It wasn't nice. And he still hadn't updated them. There's like carpet with like stains. I mean, it wasn't like a gross office, but it definitely wasn't updated. It needs some updates, but it doesn't matter. I think that just goes to show it doesn't matter what the building looks like, what the decorations are, what the equipment you have. Like, you got to have the right systems in place because all the other thing is just arbitrary. It doesn't matter. So you can have a dream office on the opposite end of the spectrum with the most beautiful furniture, the most beautiful stained glass windows, in the building and all the great decoration and great stuff. But if you don't have people to fill that office, it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, you got to have people to continue to build your business. And so I just really encourage you to focus on the things that do matter, which is meeting the people.
Yeah. So let's go back. Entrepreneurs like fighting. That's the number one. Number two, be yourself. And number three, don't forget about sales. If you have any question, reach out to us and don't forget to join Path to Victory in Facebook.